Dawn, what's good, sis? What's good? Kevin, shalom, shalom. Shebrew, hey girl, hey, all praise to the creator. The Nat, shalom, sis. All right, y'all, happy Monday. It is January 23rd, day 322 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,341. Today we're picking back up in the Romance of the Red Star, which is another name for a waspy. On page 19, we're still in a cycle of Sathantes. That's what Romance of the Red Star calls it. Over here in Big Blue, the lowest edition of a waspy, they call it the Book of Sathantes, Son of Jehovah. After we read, what's this, chapter 4? We'll probably read 2 chapters. Probably got enough time to read 2. The next one's, yeah, we're probably just going to read 2 chapters. They'll probably take us right to the 30-minute mark. And then we're going to hop on over here into delusions and science and spirituality. And I'm almost certain we're going to finish with this today, because we didn't finish yesterday with all our shenanigans and stories. So we're going to read the last couple pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 good pages. We take out the diagrams. We're going to pick that up on page 316. So, Father, we thank you for a lifetime to grow and develop and to get better as we go along. All right, beautiful people. Iman, shalom, shalom, and everybody else already here hanging out in the background on both places on YouTube and on Facebook. Top of the morning to you. Let me say, y'all, time flies by so fast. Today begins the 3rd term in my graduate program. First of all, I'm super grateful. I'm so super grateful for a professor, which I have this very next term. So I got to step my game up like big time, right? Because I was having a moment this weekend. I was like, I ain't going to pass this term. I'm not going to pass it. And if anybody ever been in a graduate program, or for the masters, you know you have to keep a B average or above, right? Oh, my God. I was going to say I'm about to have a breakdown, but I was like, I ain't going to have no breakdown. I'm going to just fail and be on probation. Right? Then my husband was like, Pam, we're not spending all this money for you just to not do anything. Like, I mean, I was working, but, you know, still lacking in a lot of places, my timelines and time management and stuff. I'm like, you know, I can't afford to do this. So my 15-page paper, my term paper that we started each week, because I go to ECPI. So each term is 5 weeks, right? So it's an accelerated learning technical college, right? So, but each week of this term, we completed a portion of our paper, right? So it broke it down into steps, right? It'd been perfect if I would have stuck to the timeline. But what I allowed to throw me off was the Christmas holiday, right? School was closed about 8 days. And I thoroughly took advantage of the school being closed. When I say I ain't do nothing, I ain't do no type of schoolwork whatsoever. No, I'm sorry. It was closed for 14 days, right? And I remember that because I remember the phone call I got because of the break is so long. And if you miss a certain number of days consecutively, they'll drop you from your program, right? Or it depends. You could be dropped from your program if you were already on academic probation, or they're going to drop you from the course for that term. But they were so gracious. They knew everybody would run into this problem. Even with the holiday, that rule still stands. So before the holiday was over, you either had to log in. You just, make a long story short, you had to attend, you had to either attend an in-seat class, which nobody could do because everybody's still on holiday, right? Or you had to submit a graded assignment. So one of the academic counselors actually called me, not just me, but everybody. But they was just reminding everybody, hey, you got like 3 days. Turn in something gradable by Wednesday. I was like, okay, boom. Did it. I turned in a whole assignment. It's like a 3-page paper, right? All right, boom, 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 boom. Didn't take me that long. But this 15-page paper, I think I ain't gonna say I psyched myself out, but I just didn't do what I was supposed to be doing, right? And so each week, when you turn in a portion of your paper, professor grades it. gives it back. Now, you can't return it in for this week. You just make the corrections and add it to your paper that's going to be your term paper that's going to be turned in on week 5, right? So we had nothing that was due for week 5 or any kind of requirements for the paper except for to combine the previous 4 weeks, make the paper perfect, and there's your assignment for Friday. For the 5th term, the 5th week. So I did all that, missed a few deadlines, and then I guess I wasn't the only one that was missing a few deadlines. So the professor relaxed the rules on being late. He was just like, you know what, since the holiday, people kind of thrown off. If anything is turned in late, I'm not going to count late points against anybody, right? Because that's 30 points right off top, right? Your assignment turned in late, that's automatic minus 30 points. So I'm just like, yes, right? So I can turn this paper in, like I reasoned in my mind, oh, it ain't going to be late. I got more time. I'm like, you know what? This is a really bad habit. Going into this program, you're already on 2nd term and you skirting the line of being on no academic probation, girl. You about to get kicked out. And so I'm thinking about this. I'm like, you know what? I really, really, really need to get better, because as I begin to look at that, I'm like, Pam, you be really skirting the line. Like, I really had to have I used to say a come to Jesus moment, right? But I really had to sit down and think about this, right? I be skirting the line on everything. That's why you be so frustrated at the last minute, because you procrastinate and you try to get things done at the last minute. This is not going to work. At some point in time, somebody going to call your bluff. And somebody ain't going to be so gracious to you with your joyful attitude and your nice smile. Somebody going to hold your feet to the fire, girl. And I thought this was a term that it was about to be done. Oh, my God. Let me tell you. So with the portions of my paper that had to be done, like I said, I'm waiting till the last minute getting it done. And when you turn it in, you get the feed. If you turn it in time, you get the feedback from the professor, and that way you can make the corrections and add it to your whole 15-page paper, your term paper, right? I didn't do that. I didn't leave any time to make corrections, which he so graciously reminded me of when I turned in all my assignments on one day. And he said, whatever grade you getting on these is what you're going to get on your term paper, because you have no time to make your corrections. Like, grades are going to be posted in a few hours, Miss Murphy. I'm like, I'm going to fail. That's it. I'm going to fail, because every time you grade a project, if you go in your grades, you can see it adjusting as the grades are being posted. And the whole time we out yesterday, I got my phone in my hand like, oh my God, babe, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. I said, because it's not moving from an F, whatever assignment he grade. He just like, and then so my assignment for week 3, which I had to do a rich picture. A rich picture is kind of like a diagram. You know how you get around with people and you brainstorm, you get a piece of paper and you just start doodling on the paper and thinking through the process. But anyway, once you get done with this is your rich picture, right? It's the whole process of everything on how to make everything flow smoothly. I was like, I spent a couple hours. That was probably the most time I spent on anything in this term was my rich picture. I was like, you see what he gave me on this? I said, look, and I did it on the industry that we work in. I picked something that we already do. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pass this with flying colors. Oh. I got pissed with my professor. Clearly, I didn't say any of this to the professor. My husband thought I should have, right? I'm so glad I didn't, because let me tell you what happened. God is so good. Listen, so I was pretty hot about my rich picture, and he gave me a D on it. I said, a D? I said, babe, first of all, he don't know nothing about this industry we work in. I said, look at this. Look, I pulled it up. He was like, yeah, babe, that's good. Yeah, that's the process. From the time of quoting all the way to the archiving of the file, the project management, all this. He's like, man, this is awesome. I said, he don't know nothing about what we do, and he gave me a D on this. No, I wasn't paying attention. Although I put the process on the paper, what I forgot to do was to explain that process inside the paper that the rich picture was attached to. He was like, so if I look at your paper, what is this all about? None of this is in here. I hit all the other points. Inside my paper, which were good. But this is one of the ones that was the biggest part of the grade, like walking through the process so people can actually see, but it's also being explained. Kind of like with figures that we have in OWASP. We see a figure, picture, whatever. It's like, okay, where's this talked about at? Maybe this can give us a little bit more insight. He said, nobody know what this is for. Right? Clearly, we can see it's for the industry of paper, but explain what's going on. What is all this, right? So my husband was like, well, call him. He said, call your professor. He said, and ask him. He said, why you give me a deal on this? And he said, explain it to him. I said, nope, I ain't gonna do it. Because I'm already feeling bad. I done turned my stuff in late. Look, I done turned my stuff in late. And even though he said he ain't counting the lateness against him, it's like I felt like I was taking advantage of his kindness. Because you ain't grading us, taking off late points. That don't mean just to turn in everything late, right? It's just if people had last minute stuff or whatever, he's just going to show a little bit of mercy. But I turned everything in late. And then I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I sure hope I got many more years alive here on the earth. Because I don't know that if I leave right now, I will hope so. But looking at how my professors are grading me in college, I might find myself in a hell knot somewhere. So it's really making me think about not just my physical school that I'm going through, but I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this here, and I can clearly point out, although I'm up early and do this and been doing it for like 5 years, you know, if I'm honest with myself, do a whole self-assessment, I could be a whole lot better, right? So I'm just like, man, it's really making me think about, do I really be doing this with my spiritual life? Because if you look at me from the outside, I'm like, man, first of all, I don't even know if I could keep up with your workload. But it's not that. I think it's my attention to detail, my time management, because it can really become a monster. And especially like with our company moving to the next phase of it is getting involved in the government sector and stuff. Like if I don't get this stuff under control, all this stuff, remember the last term I was talking about this? I said I thought I was going to be thrown in a hell knot and throw my schedule right on top of me. Still dealing with the same stuff. I'm working through it. I'm working through it, y'all. But listen. So my husband was like, man, call your professor. He said, I will say something. We ain't paying all this money for this degree, and you just not going to say nothing. He said, if I was you, I'd say something. He's like, matter of fact, you need to think about saying something and call him before the day is over with, because grade's going to be posted. And I was like, I ain't saying nothing. I probably deserve this grade. I said probably, knowing full well I deserve an F. I was like, and then when I was doing the paper, trying to finish it up, I'm like, how are you going to produce 15 pages of a paper, not including the bibliography and the cover page that some people try, cover page, we're going to put page number on the first cover page and the bibliography. No, it don't count, right? So, but anyway, make a long story short, I got everything turned in. My paper actually ended up being 21 pages, not including the bibliography, right? And then I turned it in, and because of the lower grades, I think I was skirting a CD for every week. Every portion of the paper, because I had to turn it in separately. Then I combined all of it and put it together and turned in like the same work twice without even getting feedback, right? So I was like, yeah, I know I'm gonna lose some points on this, but I didn't think I would fail the class. Rightfully so, I should have failed this term. Like, this should be the term that I get kicked out, because the first term should have been academic probation. This term should have been, thank you for coming out, God bless you, good night. I should have been exited from the program altogether. I think because, okay, so earlier in the term, I think it's just grace to the Father. Like, listen, girl, come on. You ain't got too many more of these terms. Okay, so at the beginning of the term, I don't know if I told y'all about this. I think it was my apology that may have kind of helped me out a little bit because of what I did in class. Listen, okay, so I got the tendency to joke around a little bit. One of the girls in our class, because we have to do like the Zoom thing, the professor was doing his lecture. And one of the girls in class, you have to show your face. You can't just be there and not have your camera on. So the camera was on, and I noticed one of the girls. I came in late that day, mind you. I came in late. So when I came in late, one of my classmates said, she sent me a message. She said, hey, I got the notes if you need them. I said, thanks, girl, right? Same classmate. Because the professor, I ain't going to say he long-winded. He's really thorough, and he just don't come up for air sometime, right? I noticed her start to nod, right? She nodded off a couple times. I was like, oh, girl, you better wake up. You can catch you sleeping on camera, right? So I sent her a message. Now, the message I started to send, I'm so glad I didn't send it, right? I mean, it was joke, but the professor may not have thought it was a joke, right? Let me say something. So I said, girl, you having a hard time staying woke, ain't you? And I put laugh out loud with the laughy faces, right? What I was about to add in there was, boy, the professor ain't coming up for no air. He gonna talk this whole class, ain't he? Something told me not to put that, right? So I sent it without adding a professor portion on it, right? And then, as soon as I sent it, clearly she had heard the ding because she was like, she did like that. And she looked, and I could see her start giggling a little bit. But not only did she giggle, my classmates started giggling, and another classmate put in that same chat, laugh out loud. And when I saw the response, because it hadn't clicked yet, when everybody else had laughed, I was busy paying attention to her and not to the professor, and I just assumed he said something funny to make the class laugh, right? So when my other classmate put in that same chat, laugh out loud, that's when I knew I had screwed up. Not paying attention, they just said, hey, girl, if you need the notes, I got them. I said, okay. Not realizing that it was in a class group chat because we have teams. Me not paying attention to detail, thinking it was the private teams and her private message to me. She sent it in the full class chat. So everybody was laughing at what I said, and my other classmate decided to put in laughy faces in the chat box. Boy, I started sweating under my arms. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then not even a minute after that, the professor read it. And he just kind of giggled a little bit. And then he ended class. I'm like, oh my God, he about to call me. Oh my God, he about to call me. Now, mind you, it was about to end the class. It was about to end the class. But he normally goes to the very last minute, give you about 5 minutes left, ask questions, that's it, right? Start class at 8 a.m., we done at 1:30 p.m., right? He ended class, we had like a whole hour left. I think my comment threw him off, but you got to keep your decorum, seeing you're the professor. I think he realized he might have been super long-winded because he started really implementing breaks. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is all because of me. I was like, now I know. Look, I sent her after class. I told my husband for a whole day. I was like, oh my God, I done already put the bullseye on me. And he gonna probably fail me right now. We ain't even started the first week. I think he gonna fail me. He didn't. I sent him a message apologizing. Professor, sorry for disrupting class. I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't even gonna make no excuse or nothing. I'm just sorry for disrupting class. That was not my intent. That was it. So I kind of been already walking on eggshells from day one of class. And then to go in and him to have all my grades in there while I'm looking on my phone like, oh yeah, this grade is not moving. My husband like, call him. I say, I ain't calling. I deserve this grade. I'm going on academic probation. I'm about to go on academic probation. He said, why would you start something and you not give it your all? I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I pulled up the syllabus again, and I'm like, yep. I said, it says in plain letters, Graduate students must maintain a B average or you will be dropped from the program, right? So as I'm sweating and stuff, and then I was like, you know what? At a point before I turned in everything, I was like, I ain't gonna make the deadline. I dropped my laptop on the floor and I was like, I'm going to sleep. If I'm gonna fail, I'm just gonna fail. I ain't about to do all this extra work and I'm gonna fail anyway. But then after I got a little bit of sleep, that was that day I was a little bit cranky. I let my laptop fall to the ground. I heard the boom, the thud. I was like, forget it. If I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail. And I ain't doing all this extra assignments. I'm gonna fail anyway. I'm going to sleep. Then I woke right back up at 6 a.m. Matter of fact, the Sabbath, nice and rested. And I'm like, Father, forgive me, but I know I'm supposed to be resting, but I'm going to just go ahead and finish these few assignments and just get it turned in. So I worked through it, had everything submitted by 5 p.m. on the Sabbath. I'm like, I'm going to be thrown in the hell not one way or the other, spiritually or in ECPI. But I got time to make up spiritual, so let me get ECPI together. Forgive me for violating my Sabbath, right? And so as the day went on, we came back and I'm just like, all the grades is in there, but the final grade wasn't calculated. And my grade with everything submitted, and mind you also, I missed a whole assignment because the day I was supposed to sit in class was the day of the wedding, right? So that's a whole grade, a whole 100 points. They give you 100 points as a counted grade for your in-seat session, right? I missed that because I was being beautiful at a wedding, right? So when I explained that to him, and he said, well, you're going to have to talk to the academic counselors about this, but you're required to sit in class. I was like, this wedding was planned before I even decided to come back to school, right? That's like, well, that's not a problem. And I'm sitting here thinking, can I attend the wedding before it actually starts? Can I have the laptop? Nope. Makeup appointment is at 8 a.m. That auntie is going to have a fit. If I'm trying to do school and doing all this on her day with the bridesmaids, I was like, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. Anyway, it's a 69.72 F. I'm like, this is it. I'm about to go on academic. We was in the car at that time. Say, babe, I'm about to go on academic probation. And then I just closed it. So when we got home, I said, let me pull it up again. Let me see if maybe something didn't calculate right. I opened it up and I noticed that it went from an F to a D, right? I'm like, oh, shoot. Maybe it's doing a slow calculation. I was like, okay, I can live with a D, but the program ain't gonna let me live with a D. It got to be a B. And then I noticed the grades, and while I was looking at it, another grade had changed. And my week 1 that he had graded, that I actually submitted on time, that he graded, and I fixed it and I resubmitted it during that time. I let him know. I said, Professor, I resubmitted this with all the corrections. This. He said, I don't take resubmissions. You're just going to have to add it to your final paper, because if I allow you to do it, I'm going to have to make adjustments for everybody else in the class. I said, okay, Professor, thank you. I understand, right? But what he did, he went in and he adjusted that grade, right? So now it was adjusted to a B. I'm like, Father, I said, babe, he adjusted my grade. My paper that he said he wasn't going to put in with the corrections, I said, he did it. I said, you know what, Father, thank you. Because I really should feel this term. By the time he got done adjusting stuff, I was at the lowest grade possible to stay in the program, a B-, right? So I'm just like, it's like another wake up call. I'm just like, girl, you was really skirting the line. And this next term, I got the same professor. And this next term is a technical business math class. I'm just like, when I saw that, after I saw him adjust my grade and submit the final grades, when I saw my next class, which begins today because everything had posted, I saw I had the same professor, and it's a technical math class. Everybody here know I be making jokes about math, right? But now I got the same professor, the technical math class. When I saw that, I was like, he should have just failed me. So my husband started laughing. I was like, listen, let me show you. Look, I don't even know what this is. And he was like, babe, it's going to be okay. Just make sure you show up. All the classes. I said, I'm going to have to read all the chapters in the book. He said, you've been reading for 5 years. Thick books, 800 pages. You didn't read your book in school. I said, I didn't read that because I was listening to the lectures. I was watching the videos and I was going through the PowerPoint presentations. He said, hold on. Did you just, he didn't hear nothing I just said. He said, you mean to tell me you didn't read your textbook? He said, how long you been reading the Bible? He said, the WASP is bigger than that. And you on your second time reading through the WASP page by page? And you didn't read your textbook? I said, I didn't. And I was just like, you know what? This is showing me that I really need to become a whole lot better. Not just in the physical stuff, but really spiritually too, right? I was like, because I shouldn't be uneven and unbalanced like this. And even though I may not get, I ain't gonna say that. Sometime with your spiritual life, you don't get immediate direct feedback depending on what you're doing. So it's almost like the professor, I ain't gonna count these late points against you, just gonna kind of let it go on. That's what I feel like in the spiritual realm sometimes. Things just add up because you're not getting like immediate, early on, you're not getting like immediate repercussions to something you may be doing wrong, right? And which can kind of be really bad if that gets too far. So I'm just like, this has got to become priority. Like my time management schedule and really paying attention to detail. Like, cause like I do this in the morning, it's not really, how can I say this? I get feedback spiritually, but in ways where I can apply it. Clearly I apply some of the stuff, but this is like a direct daily feedback type thing to where even if I am getting it, and sometimes I do, it's easy to kind of just push it off just a little bit and you're not seeing clearly. And then you find yourself off down the path somewhere because you wasn't paying attention to details. So I think I'm getting to that point, like spiritually, to where I actually needed something because I really felt the push to go back to school. Like I'm second guessing like a lot of this stuff that I'm doing now, right? I'm just like,
don't do it then.
My husband, like, he said, well, don't do it then. I was like, I'm really thinking about my entire life, spiritually and physically. Like, I really need to like tighten up, right? Yeah, and with this direct,
much, man. You be doing too much.
That's what my husband say. He said, I'm doing too much.
Things going on, man. Like,
that's what I'm talking about. I got to get a hold of my time management schedule, babe.
You gotta be teacher. What is it? Oh, being a teacher of many, but a master of none. You start. I'd be like, yo, babe, start one thing, finish one thing. You be like, oh, I got it. And then when it started falling apart or falling down, you just like, oh my God. Then you want to yell at everybody in the house, straighten up, tighten up. It ain't even our fault. It be you. You be going to bring it in. Then it's like, we got to pay it.
Listen.
No, man, when you going through that?
My husband not lying. But listen, look, Dawn, like, sis, whose side you on? Like, I don't want you to take sides. She said your husband right.
Man, listen, you can listen. You walk left, right, step by step. You don't be jumping and now you want to jog because now you out of breath. Then you want last night, you see someone, listen, man, you see something. I forgot where you seen something at. Then you see the person on Facebook.
What? What person?
You like, ooh, look at her butt. Then now you want to jump on the doggone treadmill. I'm like, yo, you cooking? I want to treadmill.
Really?
I'm like, why do I got to suck because you want a bigger butt? Like, dog.
Why would you say that I'm live? Listen, look.
Do you not be saying certain things on
I
live?
did. Look.
Oh.
Look,
Come
listen,
back around to you.
listen. I don't even know how to respond to that right
You can't respond.
because I did say that.
But you get on the treadmill, and I'm like, dang.
But the treadmill's a part of my.
But y'all women compliment each other, you know, and that's not a problem. It be we men don't want to compliment each other of saying, hey, he's a nice looking guy.
Hey man, look at his shoulders.
Look at his hands. He got big old hands. What size shoe you wear?
I was like,
everybody wear 12s?
Look, I did. I was like, oh shoot, look at her butt. I'm like, all right, babe, I'll be back.
Yeah, you left me, man. I'm like, I thought you was down here cooking. I'm like, what you doing? I'm on the treadmill. You cooking? Yeah, when I get off the treadmill. I'm like, you get upset with us over the smallest stuff, bro. Like,
look, I'm working to get better. Like, I really am. It's like I'm being, the pressure is being put on me just a little bit.
Who put the pressure on you? Who doing it? Tell me who doing it.
Probably me.
Probably?
But listen.
The Nile is just not a river in Egypt, man. Remember that. Quit. You do it to yourself.
But listen, there's a point. Look, awakening. Right, Kevin. He said, awakening the truth, living up to the name. I'm literally awakening to the truth I'm lacking in a lot of places. But it's helpful for my growth because now I can see that, oh my gosh, I really have to get it together, right? So a little bit of pressure. I mean, not to, you know how diamonds are made, right? It's the pressure. The pressure causes the beautiful things to come out, right? So all this pressure from school, it's helping me look at some of the more intricate details of my life that I just kind of been like, la, 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 la. It is what it is, right? So, what happened? Wait, where's the paperwork for the project? So it's helping, it's putting the pressure on me, but it's making me pay attention. It's making me pay attention to the small details of my life, right? And I'm just like, man, I've really not been paying attention to that, right? So some things I realize I gotta push out the way. I got to triage my schedule. I know I talked about this last term, but the heat is just being turned up a little bit more, right? So I would say I need a couple more hours in my day, but that ain't going to happen, which means I need to get rid of some stuff, right? I need to get rid of some stuff. And I realize also where my strengths lie. Like I went to this marketing, event a few years ago, and you hear people, they talk about the different type of personalities, and so I realized the type of personality that I have, and not just personality, but the way I'm built, right? And I began to look at different things. I'm not gonna say like the leader, but I fall into the dynamic like the fire starters, right? I got the great ideas that I can tell you this, and this. I'm just not really good at carrying out the little details behind the plan, right? Which is why a lot of times I'm not in the field because that's not where I shine. I shine kind of like behind the scenes, getting the projects, this, getting everybody hype about it. Yes, let's go. And, okay, we need somebody to help us with the details of this. How is this actually going to flow out, right? So that's where I need a little bit better. I need to be better there. But my husband is amazing at it, which is why he's in the field. He can run multiple projects at one time. He know how the project is set up, what's being done over here, the team we got over here. He is really, really good with carrying out the details, which is why he's always on me. Like, you good at starting stuff, but you can't finish it. I was like, this not like a bad thing. It's like you need somebody to get everybody hyped. Yes, let's go. But you also need supervisors in place to help all these people that's on fire to carry out this plan, right? I'm keeping everybody hyped. Let's go. Y'all doing a great job. That's me. That's what I do. But I need people to help me.
You did that in Norfolk State. You did a good job. But you need to. Go ahead.
What you talking about, me?
Yeah, you did a good job when we did that big project. You did everything.
Oh, yeah, I was out there in the field in Norfolk State.
But you had one job. See, I ain't put too much on you. I kept it simple with you. One job.
Right.
Because I know if it's simple, you can complete it easily. And you ain't got to sweat. You ain't got to be kicking. You ain't got to do. I keep it straight simple. Why? Because I know that You in that lane. You got to think about yourself like that instead
I know
of trying
that.
to be like.
That's what I'm saying. I know what I'm good at. See, I was the hype man out at Norfolk State and taking notes and taking pictures. That's what I do. I like to capture amazing moments.
Anybody has to remember, man, woman, child. When your life become chaotic, the people that surround you see that and they feel that. And if you say that you love them, don't put them through that type of stuff. That's all I'm saying. They don't deserve that.
True, which is why I have to be better. Yeah, thank y'all. They say he's right.
Listen, she ain't gonna never say that. She ain't gonna never.
I'll never tell you right.
Oh no, man, you don't do that.
I do.
You just look at me and be like, oh, okay, I understand. That's all I do. That means you right. Okay, when I say I understand, that's what it means.
You're right.
But most people are like that. They don't want to say, you know what? But you have to remember.
No, seriously, you have
to remember that you have a teammate here,
right?
Who been holding down for you for how long? How many years?
Listen, so here's what I need to do.
Jim, how old was you when we started doing this thing?
Yeah, I did it y'all did it before.
Like 17, 18 years. I've been holding this thing down.
You have. Give me some.
Do your live thing and wake up when you want to wake up.
You doing your thing, babe.
Go to sleep at 6 o'clock and stay asleep all night.
Look. All right, listen. I'm going to need some of your logistical insight to carry out the actual work of my program. I'm going to be hype about it. Yes, about to get my master's. But I need you to do. I love you. Look. Look. So, I realize I just can't hype man my way through things when it's requiring more of me at these levels we're going. And that's what's frustrating me, because I've been able to just kind of, like my husband say, you can't foo-foo your way through everything. And I'm just like, sitting here, I'm like really reassessing my life. I'm like, why am I even doing this in the morning? I was like, because I'm about to be kicked out of class. I might even be kicked out of heaven, right? So I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it's really making me really assess my life and what I'm doing, right? Well, I ain't seen none of y'all comments. Look. Instead of making ends. What'd you say, Jamil? Everybody else that became men. Hey, y'all, hold on. Yeah, hold it. Look, teaching is my passion, and that's because you gotta have like a good teacher. Teachers have to be like full of fire, right? And I know that about me, but I have to be able to carry out the detail of what I'm teaching, right? And not that I'm struggling with it, but there are just certain things, like I can talk all day long, like I really can. I'm a really quiet person, but I can talk about things that I love. Now when I have to translate that into writing and paper, it's like, now I get frustrated. I mean, I love English and just different things like that, but sometimes my fingers don't move as fast as my mind moves, and sometimes it takes me a while to convey it in the proper words and make it like a master's level paper, right? Because I'm used to joking around. It's like, Miss Murphy, you can't use those words here. Oh, I'm sorry. Not that they're bad words, but use words because we're intellectuals here. We would like to hear words, big words from the dictionary, right? It's like they want me to put on my business voice all the time, and that's okay, but I'm just, I'm having a time with doing this. I definitely need more discipline. Jamia said, instead of making ends, make less ends. I didn't get what you were saying. That's what I was looking at. I know, Dawn. I just saw your comment. Elisa, shalom, shalom. You didn't read your textbook. I know, right? That is shocking. Because I'm like, listen, here, it's an excuse, but let me tell you why I didn't read the textbook. First of all, because it's a textbook. Who reads the textbook from beginning to the end, right? Like, people like, well, who reads the Bible from the beginning to the end? It's the same thing. But because of the teacher, even though I called him long-winded, he's very, very thorough. So listening to his lectures and his PowerPoint presentations is almost like a book in itself. And he always brings out the main points. He tells us everything is all there. That's why I figured I didn't need the book. But in the book are stories and examples and stuff which would drive these main points home. So he just got a bunch of facts and data. If you listen to the lectures, the stories are awesome, but some of the other stories around some of the other points would have been very helpful. You know how, like now, it's been 42 minutes I've been telling a story. The stories around the lesson is what really helps to drive the lesson home. That's what I'm missing from the textbook, because the textbook has these little grayed out areas and different scenarios from different companies like Panera Bread and Walmart and Blockbuster and all of these things. So I wasn't doing that, right? So I'm just like, yo, you really have to be doing this on every level of life. And I ain't even gonna say to my it's just an excuse, even though I've been out of school since out of higher learning academic school since 2010. You know, I'm going into my third term, and I should be doing a little bit better. I really should, but I just been, like my husband said, you can't foo-foo your way through everything, Pam. Like, you really got to read that book. So, but yeah, so that's where my husband, with his YouTube channel, y'all gonna follow. Yeah, he ain't never getting on YouTube. He said he may come in the video more here, you know, but he'll probably never have his own separate channel. He'll just pop in every now and again when he think I'm getting off track. Or he think we need to add a little bit more spice to the morning lessons. Look, so that's what I met, y'all. Like, really. So even with my being here on time, like I be saying, like, y'all be beating me here most of the times. But listen, I be up. Here's the thing. And I just be piddling around trying to push in a bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm really paying attention to what I've been doing. I be trying to, not that I'm doing it on purpose. It just seemed like always at the last minute. And look, I even started to think, is there a spirit overshadowing me that won't let me be great? Like, always got me running around, go do this, go this. Oop, you forgot about that. Because that's how my mind be going a lot of times. I'm really paying attention to this. And I have to, like, stop myself. Wait a minute. Finish helping them with the homework. Then you can go change the load of laundry. Like, because I'll think about coming downstairs to cook dinner, right? So on the way from my bedroom to come downstairs to cook dinner, I'll be walking out my room and realize I forgot to hang up a jacket, right? I was like, oh, I meant to hang that jacket up. Supposed to be going to cook dinner. Grab my jacket, walk to the closet, get the hanger to hang it up. Then I realized, girl, why didn't you put your shoes on the shelf, right? So I pick up my shoes, put them on the shelf, and I realized my husband had threw his clothes down in front of the hamper. The hamper right there. Why don't you just put it in the hamper? Pick up his clothes, put it in the hamper. All right, back out the room to go cook dinner. Then I go through and I see that the kids then got a cup up here in the loft, and the game is over here, and this is over here, and I got pillows. Somebody done tried to make a pillow fort with the pillows. Hey, get in here and get this loft cleaned up. Why my pillows all on the floor? Pick them up. Get this up. What I tell y'all about drinking up here? Is this the only cup upstairs? And instead of walking downstairs to cook dinner, I decided to walk through the hallway to go look at their rooms. And y'all still didn't clean this room up. Come in here after you get that stuff up in the loft. Bella, Mom, I need help. Oh my gosh, why you pull all the toys out if you ain't want to put them up? So now I'm supposed to be cooking dinner, but I'm in Bella's room helping Bella clean up. So I'm picking up toys. Bella, why is there a plate here in your room? Because I wanted to cook and I didn't want to stay downstairs. What I tell you about eating upstairs? Go take the plate downstairs. Bella leaves out the room with the plate, gets lost. Never see her again, but I'm still in the room cleaning up. I'm supposed to be downstairs cooking dinner. Knowing my husband on his way home, right? I like to have it nice and hot. When he walking in the door, Pam, I want to be eating at 9 o'clock at night. You trying to kill me? If it's past 6 o'clock, make me a salad, right? So all of these things. I got this all what you said, Jamia, that's mom syndrome. Clearly, like, and it happens every single day. Right? So by the time I finally make it downstairs to cook dinner, my husband already came to the house, took his shower. I'm downstairs. It's going on 8 o'clock and I'm cooking. What you been doing all day? Cleaning up, doing this stuff. Then I had to send in the stuff for the business. This. Bam, Pam. It's almost 9 o'clock. Man, just make me a salad. I done already started cooking. Now you tell me to make a salad? Well, you should have been paying attention to the time. I was just like, you know what? Pam, pull your life together, right? So, listen. I started off this morning just telling y'all that my professor so graciously allowed me to stay in the program, past me, and now all this other stuff has flowed out of there. We ain't started reading today, right? Because I'm really reassessing my life and why I'm really here. Like, I really am. Like, I really need to get it together. So I was like, you know what? What if I just stop doing the morning videos? I can gain a whole hour, probably 2 hours, but then you're going to be miserable because that's your fire. That's what you want to be doing. So you need to cut out the other crap so you can adjust. Get up a little bit earlier, right? Get up a little bit earlier. Cut out some of the shenanigans. Some things that you try to do every day could be combined to maybe one day. Because sometimes I try to do certain things every day instead of blocking it off a certain time, and I just try to do it throughout the day. And I'm just like, I really need help with my schedule. I don't watch all these videos, but now I got all these different theories on how to do it instead of just picking one and focusing on that one, right? Clean up after you cook. Listen, and that's the thing. I always clean up after I cook, right? Matter of fact, when I come down to the kitchen, listen, this is still the same story. Supposed to become the cook dinner, then I got sidetracked by a billion things. Look, and when I get down to the kitchen, I realized that the kids been in here messing and stuff, and now it's dishes in the sink. And I can't cook dinner with dishes in the sink. So now I'm washing the dishes and cleaning up the kitchen again, sweeping the floor, because why ain't y'all clean up after y'allself, right? I can't cook in the dirty kitchen, which is something I got from my mama. Get in here and clean up this kitchen. I ain't cooking dinner in the dirty kitchen. That same thing I do, right? Because it clutters the place and I can't see what I'm doing. Started doing crock pot meals, which calls for more planning, Jamil. I mean, I got to sit down. Okay, like, I've been saying I was going to do that for years, different things, but listen, it always seems to be an emergency. When I think I got my time scheduled down, and I can sit there and write stuff out, it seems like there's always this, let's just call it burning fire. And I'm learning how to control the burning fires, what's really a fire, what's really not. And it seemed like I'd be so busy trying to handle everybody else's stuff that my stuff is always like pushed to the back. And now my stuff is piling up. And now it's this big monster ready to box me and take me out. You let this pile up. But I was doing this and this. But what about me, right? Let's go, sis. I'm ready for you. Let's go. I'm sick of you ignoring me, right? And everything just pile up on me. Look, put the dinner on after lunch. Listen, I'm going to just say, I've been making a whole lot of excuses, right? When I say there are burning fires, when I say, boom, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And the day will be going good. My husband will call me with a burning fire from the job site. Babe, what you doing? I'm about to cook dinner. Don't worry about that. We could probably order something. Listen, I need you to run to the office and bring this out here to the job. Well, what is this? I can't leave this. I got to make sure this and the point of contact is coming to me. I was like, don't worry about it, babe. Boom. Next thing I know, we out for 4 hours, right? Okay, when you do this, you mind stopping past the store? And I'm just like, and I feel like I'm just this, I don't know. I feel like I be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get things in order. I'm trying to find my head to bring everything in order, but it's a bit of a task. Let's just say that. It's been a bit of a task for me to do, but every day I'm hoping I'm getting better, trying to implement something, and then I have to push something off and tell somebody no, right? And like with even my nieces who don't live here, they supposed to be walking to work, right? Because they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. They ain't got their license. Now, the time I got set up, different things, I get texts in the morning. Hey, I'm Pam. Can you take me to work? When this is a time I've already set aside. Now I got to be mean and I got to tell people no because now you're intruding upon my schedule again, right? So that's the point I'm at now. I'm learning how to push away. I'm trying to really, I be talking about put everything on the table. I got so much stuff on the table, on my personal table, that it is hard to separate, like, where is my schedule? I got to tell people, no. Auntie Belinda Brown, what you miss? Absolutely nothing. We ain't even started yet. Listen, you know the phone call I gave you? That's what I'm talking about. My phone call that I need help, right? That's what I'm talking about. Walking through the details of this. Like, this was, my schedule stuff is so bad. I was like, I really need help. You know, so I called my aunt. And so she is so gracious. Let me know. She even told me for a while, Pam, if you need some help, just let me know. Just give me a call. You know, I'm like, I got it. Meanwhile, this monster's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So finally reached out. Look, and I bared my sins before the brethren. I was like, I need help. Right. So, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Auntie. And my schedule and stuff, and starting this next term today. What I thought I was going to be on academic probation, but my professor gave me another chance because I got him this term and he passed me, right? I rightfully deserve to be booted out the program. I really do, right? But I think they kind of see that with our conversations back and forth. They kind of trying to like help me, but it's like, you know how people can give you advice, but you have to actually implement it yourself. And that's what, I guess you can say, that's the portion I'm having problem with implementing, because all this time, everything has always like fallen on me, and I just been taking care of everything myself, and it's becoming just too much at this point, right? It's kind of like when you have a business, like same thing with our business, because this is like really forcing me to look at stuff, but it's also forcing me to look at our business, because at some point you become the bottleneck, right? Because things are not moving, because it's you're the problem, right? So with our first experience with that, because our company started off just me and my husband and my little brother, right? As we grew, they want to give us more jobs. We don't have enough people. We can do it. We don't need. Yes, we do. Hire more people. So that was the first thing we had to overcome. We had to hire more people to help us get the job done. While we're hiring people out there, I'm not necessarily hiring people to help me in-house to handle the administrative stuff. I just been doing everything. And it seems like the same cycle. It's like, what I realize is that we're at a point of growth now. And listen, it's what we've been learning about in a while. It's been like, I'm really seeing it on another level. You know how kids, when they become class clowns, not all the time, sometimes they could be a class clown because they don't understand the lesson. They could be behind, or they could be so far ahead that it's not challenging, and we have to do something to adjust. Otherwise, they're going to start frustrating everybody else in the class. Like my husband said, he said, you get mad at everybody in the house, you yelling at everybody else. And so I realize I'm at that point, because I'm like snapping off, but it's like I'm the bottleneck. I need help. That's why I called my aunt. So, which is also why when I was handling the payroll and the taxes and all of this stuff, I was good. Lower levels, I can handle it. But as we grow, you need help. You can't do everything, right? So that first bottleneck, it was like we were forced out of it because the IRS comes knocking at the door, right? And I realized this has been like this process over my life, being like afraid to let go of things. Not necessarily let it go. Fear of handling it, handing it off to somebody, and they might do, I guess my thoughts of they might mess it up, or they may not understand it like I understand it, but by me still trying to handle everything, it don't look like I understand either, because I'm screwing it up worse than if I gave it to one person to focus on. Right? So I'm trying to focus on this, trying to be what my husband say, a jack of all trades, but master of none. And that's what I'm coming to grips with at this point in time, that I've been juggling so many things are beginning to fall, right? So it's like, okay, so the first time we adjusted this, we need a CPA and we need a whole bookkeeping company. We could hire somebody, but if we bring them into the office, now we got to worry about, is they going to steal from us? Do we really want them having access to our accounts? What about these shows we be watching? What if somebody get in there and start stealing money from us? So me and my husband had these conversations. When you have a business and it's been a mom and pop so long, you have these fears that somebody gonna come in and take all that you done worked so hard for and just run off with it, right? So it's like, yeah, we ain't hiring nobody. And then it's like, okay, well, if we sitting in the office, and we're working on a project, because I'm working at home, like all of these different things we dealing with. So my husband like, okay, well, if I'm in the office, I need somebody to do this. And so we can hire somebody. I said, well, we could hire somebody, but I think it's going to need to be virtual. You know, somebody I can work with, because I'm in and out of the office a lot. I said, I'd be doggone if a helper come up in there and think she running stuff, right? Especially if you sitting there working on a project. Ain't happening, right? And vice versa, right? Because some guys are good at administration. He was like, well, if you hire anybody and you in the office, it had better be a woman, right? So all of these things we working through. So now nobody's working in the office except for me and my husband and like my brother and my sister, right? Because they come in and out for the projects and stuff. And all of this, y'all, is about focusing, right? And how I've been scattered and trying to align my life with what I'm doing in the morning. Everything is like, I'm at that growth point again, right? So children who aren't being challenged enough, either they start becoming distractions. They start, they start interrupting a lesson other children can't learn, or they're so far behind, we need to actually take you out of this class and put you in remedial or wherever, another class where we can fill in these gaps, right? So it's at this point where I got so much stuff I need to actually separate, and I need to reproduce myself. So at this point where we're at, instead of hiring somebody to come in, we decide to outsource, right? So instead of bringing in a bookkeeper, we outsource to a CPA company, right? So now, even though I'm still responsible for the finances, but I have professionals, this is what y'all do 24/7. And now we just set up meetings once a week to go over our stuff, hand in what they need, right? So now the finances, we get that in order, right? So just like what we did with the finances and with the payroll company, we hire ADP. So now all I have to do now, instead of doing this, calculating it, make sure I fill out the tax forms, getting it sent in, remember the deadlines. If you miscalculate this, you're going to get hit with this. All of that was happening, hit with fines and everything, paying out more money to the IRS. That's why the IRS showed up at our door. Bottleneck, you are the problem. Hire somebody that can help. So we're really at that point again where it's like these other portions of the business, we need other people to help us instead of trying to be a one-man, one-woman show, right? So all of this, it just transfers over into every area of life. And so that's why I'm like, I really need to assess my life and what we're doing. So all of these lessons that I'm learning through WASPy and standing up here teaching y'all, it's like it's coming full circle, nonstop, every single day. And it's like, oh my gosh. And it's like, how do I juggle at this level now? So I don't know. It's getting better. So what we want to do, the whole point of saying all this, I guess this is going to be our lesson. While we're learning, we don't want to just be here every day, just having a good time, enjoying the lessons without actually applying them to our life, right? Because we should be a glory in the eyes of the Father, right? We're in school, we're learning the lessons, but we're also applying the lessons, which shows that we paid attention and that we understand. Because if our life keeps going in circles, well, aren't you even teaching the class? Like, I'm ashamed to say, because of how things are kind of like all over the place and really trying to get a hold of this stuff, sometimes I'd be ashamed to say, I'm like, YouTube channel, who got a YouTube channel? Surely not me. Teaching what? Based on what you're producing here, you shouldn't be teaching nothing. You need to be sitting in somebody's class every single day till you pull this together, right? So it's like I'm realizing all of the inconsistencies, and then all of what I learned through a WASPy, it's like I hear my own voice reading passages from here. Then I'm looking at that while I'm looking at different situations in our business, in our life, and how to align some of this stuff. I'm like, okay, so we've come to this point where I need to address the actual, it's like a strategic plan. How do we actually carry out what we're learning, right? Because there's trials, testing and error, testing and you can say trial and error, testing all things with what I learned, applying it to the business, spiritual principles, not just physical things, but also the spiritual principles that I learned, applying that as well, not to just my spiritual life, but it shall also be a direct, the spirit and the physical should walk in tandem. And whatever you're learning here, you should be applying it over here. So that's why I'm trying to figure out this break that I've had with some things, not with all things, but with some things, integrating the spiritual lessons into the physical. So I bring all things together and be whole and just walk strong. And then my teaching will get better because now I'm able to merge the two and actually walk in the wisdom that I'm learning, right? And a lot of times I realize I just got a bunch of raw data and facts. It hasn't even translated to true understanding yet, right? Because I look at my life, I was like, nobody would believe this. Nobody would believe this. I don't believe this. What is the disconnect, right? And that's kind of like what I'm working through. So sometimes it may seem like I'm scattered, and sometimes I do be scattered, right? So if y'all see it, help a sister out, right? I know I'll be up here reading to y'all and all this stuff and sharing my stories, but I need like that same type pouring into, which happens in my personal time, like before I come here. But then I have to learn how to put it all together and like walk in it. Dana Shalom, E-Myth. You know what? Is it? Do I have that? I think I know what is it by Michael? No. Is it by Michael Gerber? No, not Michael Gerber. That's not Michael Gerber, is it? E-Myth? It might be. I think so. Maybe. I don't know. I remember the book though. I remember Michael Gerber is a really good, and I think if I remember correctly, he taught on the lines of this, like merging it. Actually, I think I might be getting him mixed up, but he was talking about being a technician and your business owners trying to be technicians inside of their business, right? If you have a business, let me know if I'm wrong, Dana. I think if I remember correctly, he was the one that did that series of books teaching business owners how to actually run their business. Because a lot of times they start off as technicians in their business. Then they decide they want to grow a business. So now they're trying to work in it and work on it. I think he teaches you how to step out of it, get competent people to work in it so you can continue to grow it while they doing the leg work. Yes. Yeah. That's me, the technician, and trying to be a business. It's a hard switch and it's frustrating. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I need to get it. Listen, I think I remember it from seeing a interview or something that he did, but I remembered it because it was I was like, that's amazing. So when you said that, I think I need to revisit that. Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of like working through. I want to make sure not just that showing up here in the morning, just have a little, but I really want to make sure that like we're developing, not just here reading stuff over and over, but I really want us to grow. Right. So, but in order for students to grow and learn, the teacher must grow and learn. Sometimes we have to adjust some stuff to make the lessons, to make them appropriate for the current time and what we're dealing with, right? Because we're getting a lot of information about how to grow in the spirit. And I give a lot of references and stuff, but all the references may not be for everybody, just depending on your lot in life and what you're doing. So it's all of these things I have to learn how to juggle and iron out the wrinkles and all of this stuff here before I can convey it appropriately and be able to help others to do it as well. So Yeah. Renewed Moon Mobile. Thank you. All right, y'all. So, Tablet says Sathante's angels were teachers, but in the process, they were students also whilst they were teaching Asu. Right? I remember that, right? We're going to get into a lot of that as well, so that's right. Listen, I'm probably like just like one of them. Remember yesterday we was reading when Sathante, well, because he's God on the throne, and it was talking about the newly born spirits, those who had just died. When it's time for them to eat, he said, all right, just take them. They kept going back and forth. I'm like one of them. Hey, look, we pulled up the atmosphere and portion of the trees and stuff, but they ain't eating. Okay, we'll find out. Sathante is God. We'll find out what they subsisted on, what they lived on, what they ate when they still had their physical bodies. And for a portion of time, they're going to have to eat the atmosphere and portion of that. Well, they feasted on fish and worms. How we going to get that? We'll go to the chop and the slaughterhouses. Soon as they tear it with their teeth, pull the smells from it and give it to them, right? It's like, okay, cool. So now I'm down there, one of the teachers, getting this, feeding them and everything. And then, of course, they start talking amongst themselves. Well, we right here. Why can't we get it ourselves? We here. Can we get ourselves? You know what? That makes good sense. Go ahead. Get it yourselves. Now, you got demon-possessed pupils. Man, God, Jehovah, help. Right? I'm at this point where I'm like, Jehovah, help. And then Jehovah going back to God. Listen, okay, so first of all, you should have known your students, right? You should have known your students. You should have given them a little bit more instruction. Now they find themselves between the rock and the hard place, and now they're screaming out to me. Here's what you need to do. Tell them this is their job. They need to continue doing this. Provide a place for their pupils, right? Because they're not strong enough to do this on their own, right? So they need to take them away so they can't even find a place anymore. And they need to be able to filter through this and give them the good portions, right? And sometimes I feel like that with some of the references I give to y'all. Some people may be ready for it. Some people can filter through the stuff, and some people maybe not so much. And it kind of confuses them. And I know that because some of the emails and stuff I got, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is not my purpose. I never intended for that to happen. So I have to be a little bit more, I have to be careful with some of the references I give to you, because it could be a whole mess when my intent was to help you grow. But maybe I haven't been paying attention close enough to realize you weren't at that level. Not saying y'all, but get the example. Maybe certain people weren't at this level yet. And it's almost like babies that's learning this hand to mouth. They're putting everything in their mouth, right? Sometimes they choking. Oh my God, take them to the hospital and swallow something they thought was food. It is that type of thing that's going on, right? So that's what I'm looking at, like really paying attention to detail, even with the references I give, because I don't know everybody, even some people hanging out in the background. I never know who some of these people are, but neither do I know because they don't engage. They just hear it, and that's okay. But they may take some of the stuff and go try something, right? But I mean, if they're engaging, you know, they can ask questions, and you know, if they're lopsided on something, if I know, I'll share it with them, or if I know of a reference that I help them to understand this a little bit more, I can give it. So I have to be mindful of that as well. So yeah, what you say? Like Tabitha says, Sathante's angels were teachers, but in the process, they were students also, right? So it's like a student teacher, and I find myself in the same place. Even parents are student teachers, right? They're teaching their children, but they're also learning from their children as well. It's like this constant process of student, teacher, student, learning things going on. And the teachers don't always get it right, neither do the students. But sometimes you got to listen to the wisdom that flow out of the students, right? And the teacher's like, well, I never even looked at it that way. Thank you, right? So this is this whole thing, this changing, understanding, adjusting phase I'm going through. To read one day a week, would it help? Read what, my school book one day a week? Look, or read here one day a week. This is a part of my life now, like every day, right? I don't know. I would feel like I'm not doing anything if I went to one day a week. I don't even know that I could do that. I mean, I'm sure I could, but yeah, I think I like my schedule. Like I've been doing this for 5 years. It is like a part of me. Like, and I'll pop up and it's a part of the day. But I need to adjust. I need to adjust my schedule. Like, this is no problem whatsoever with my day. This is probably the best part of my day, you know, aside from when we start my morning routine. But adjusting all of this other stuff that's coming in, that's what I need to adjust and learn how to pan out, right? So it flows smoothly, and my teachings are, you can comprehend the teachings without them being all over the place. You mean the lesson? Be okay to, what you mean? Hold on, I think I misunderstood you. Meant the lesson. What you mean? What lesson? Lesson, Elijah. Take for, hey girl, hey. Minəstrē Yahoo Shalom, Nazarene is seen. Kevin said, I sat at the back of the class, I farted at my desk, then walked to the pencil sharpener up front. I was a different kind of disruptive. I have classmates like you. That was funny. Yeah, light repaying light workers. Believe that if you were doing BS with your time instead of your ministry works, things would turn out differently. Yeah, you know, yeah, I believe that. I believe that, right? I think my unseen heavenly help, or Char's like, she trying, y'all. She gonna get it. We got faith in her. Like, her intents are really, really good and pure. Like, she really wants to get it, but she'll get it. Just keep giving her chances. That's what I feel like sometimes. I'm like, okay, I know I'm slow to catch on to some stuff. Okay. That's what I'm trying to, like, okay, this is important. This is not important. Like, things that I used to think were important are not so much important anymore. And they're not really burning fires like I deemed them to be. And everybody else's emergency should not become my emergency, right? It depends on what type of emergency it is, but a lot of times everybody else's emergency, I've allowed it to be my emergency, which throws me off, right? So I have to learn how to, I guess I can say, guard my time well, right? Even with phone calls that come through sometime. I love my sisters, but they like to talk all day long, right? And even with that, trying to listen to them talk, hold up, well, I'm doing like this, like I'm holding the phone, but my earpiece in my ear now. But I realize even sometimes my sister be like, girl, you listening? I was like, girl, look, I'm trying to finish this contract. Yeah, you got quiet. I'm like, girl, I'm gonna call you back, right? And then one of my sisters be like, okay, hold on, give me 1 more second. Let me finish telling you this. I say, listen, I'm on the deadline. Let me call you back. Just, you got like 2. You know what? Go ahead, talk. Now I'm starting to get agitated because it's like nobody else, not that they don't value my time, but all of these little things, I'm just looking at the little different pieces of my life and how I've allowed it to get to this point where I'm finding myself being frustrated more and more. It's like, this should not be happening this way, right? I shouldn't be like snapping off, and not like a bad snapping off, but you can tell it's not like my normal jippery where, y'all, sit down somewhere. It's like, hey! Now I'm like, wait, where'd that come from? Like, you know what, Pam? You tired. Go to sleep, right? Yeah, so, I don't know. Maybe this was just because look, I ain't got time to read nothing now. Maybe it's just a heart cleansing for me. I just need to talk about it and get it out, right? Because I've been all distracted and stuff. So, look, I think I'm good. Read through y'all comments, right? So, but I do like to share stuff with y'all just in case y'all going through different situations or even things similar. You know, don't forget to take time for yourself and rest, right? Because if you're not getting enough rest, you can become cranky, and it's like, man, and even eating appropriately. All of these things as you grow. Sleep, appropriate sleep, not oversleeping, enough sleep, but also eating appropriately helps you with your day. If you're eating bad, you feel bad, you respond bad, your day just goes bad all the way around. But when you eat better, Your body feels better. You feel better mentally. You have clarity, right? And you can think, and you can nicely tell people no. You can take control of your schedule, and your schedule not take control of you, right? All right, y'all. You know what? That's it for today. You know what, Mom? Thank you. I was thinking about that, but I didn't want to mess the words up. That's what I was saying. Poor planning on someone else's part doesn't make it an emergency on your part. Yes, I 100% agree. And a lot of times, everybody else's emergency has become my emergency, right? So that's what I'm working on now. So, yes, be looking for, hold on. And I haven't even, let me just double check real quick. Because I believe the Sabbath, the new moon, I will look this up real quick. Anybody? Hold on. That's what I haven't done. This whole term and trying to get everything, I haven't caught up with it. Let's check. Oh yeah, it was spotted last night. Yep, Sunday. Couple different reports. And if y'all spotted last night, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even go outside. I mean, I went outside, but it was raining all day yesterday as well. So, and it was really, really, really cloudy and overcast. But y'all in different places. I know in California and Texas, Louisiana, South Dakota, Florida, Puerto Rico, but that's over there. Any of you spotted last night? So it looks like the new Sabbath day is on a Sunday. So starting this next Sunday coming up for this moon cycle will be the new Sabbath. January 29th. All right, y'all. Not too cloudy and raining. Yeah. All right, beautiful people. Yeah. I love simple lives. Look, I hadn't even been thinking about, because I think I can, I would have to get something. I wish that, well, I'm sure it probably is, something where I can stream to both places, like from Facebook or to Facebook and to YouTube, like from like one device where to record, to where I don't necessarily have to like log into social media, because social media is a big, and not all the time, but when I do, I find myself, I'm scrolling, laughing at stuff for like 3 and 4 hours. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe. It's like a time trap. It sucks you in, and you've been there like 4 hours scrolling. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Yeah, so social media will suck up a lot of time. But also social media, well, I kind of like outsource that, but I do have to check on it, like with our business. It's not really, we're just showing like pictures of our work and marketing, because we have a different market. We ain't trying to market to everybody. We do commercial and government work. So our social media is pretty much showing you projects and our work, not trying to get anybody to come to buy from us, because our clients they're on social media, but there are different avenues where they purchase, but they can see our work by coming to social media and how we post it. So I like to check on that and make sure that's good. But even that, when I was handling all that, oh my gosh, that was another big time suck. And it's important, but not as important as some other things. So I didn't want to push it to the side. So I had to, instead of hiring somebody, we just kind of outsourced it. And I think that's kind of been like our saving grace for the most part. But I don't know how to really outsource the administrative part, like all the stuff that I do, and that's what I've been having a hard time on. Like, we can get employees, we can get a CPA firm, we can get a marketing company, all of this stuff, and we have meetings. But if I hire people in, now we have to have meetings face to face, like all of these different things. And that looks like it's more time to me, where I'm trying to redeem some of my time, regain some of my time, my sanity. And so I'm working through all of it. But yeah, it is. It can be a time suck. But social media makes us money as well. Not through social media, but seeing our work and people look at the progress of projects and stuff like, oh, they really know what they're doing, you know. So it nets us projects on the back end, not through social media. They just can see the proof of our work, and these are our people. We know what we're doing. We do slow-mos and processes of putting the things together. So, but yeah. Do you need to cut back on your time by 30 minutes? Will this help you? Possibly, maybe, like right now, like we should have been off. I just been talking. We ain't did nothing today, right? This is like the second time, maybe second. I think that I remember. The first time I remember we was up here and I talked for like an hour. This was last year when I did the whole video about the Julian spirits. The whole day, just telling about the shenanigans that happened, right? So I don't know. I give it once a quarter when we do this. Well, I'm just having to, y'all got to regain my sanity here. One of these type days where we don't really ever get into the lesson. We're just kind of talking about stuff. Yeah, so I'm getting better with my planning, even hoping to make this better and a little more interactive. And, you know, I just really want to grow because, like I said, we're about to go into the 5th year and, you know, we should be getting better. People coming in, they should, I don't want us to be at like the beginning levels, like stagnant. Like when you go to church, it's like always the same Bible stories, lessons over and over, which is why people in church, they get frustrated. It's the same stuff over and over. Not that repetition is bad. It's good, but multiple years and nobody's growing. I don't want to do that. All right. I like to revisit lessons, but going over stuff too much, it becomes unnecessarily repetitive, right? And it gets frustrating. And then, all right, I'll catch y'all later. I don't want this to become that, right? So even when we go through a WASP, we probably won't read through it a third time because we read through it the first time and because it's so good. And every time you read something, you pull more stuff out of it. But I want us to grab the lessons that we can and actually be applying them to our lives on a daily basis, right? The second time going through this is just making sure we got them. What we can keep, let's keep. What we can't, just either if it don't go in the trash, we set it on fire, just put it to the side. We maybe need to use it later, right? But I want to keep going, keep developing, right? So pretty soon we won't be reading a WASP anymore, right? And some people that just want to read a WASP, they may find whatever, right? But I want us to keep growing. I don't want us to just be stuck, right? Because we spend a lot of time and we got a lot of resources like Selah and Cosmine Cal and Dreadful Cosmine, all of them guys that are doing it, and we partake in a lot of their lessons and we learn a whole lot in a short period of time and things start happening. I just want to kind of keep building on that and just keep elevating, just like Creator designed us to, right? We don't want to be stagnant and just keep going around the bend in the wilderness 40 years. I don't want to do that. All right, so that's it for today. Like, that's it, right? That's it. You ever had those days in school with teacher like, you know what? Let's just talk today, right? Put less to the side. I think that's what it was. Me first pouring out my heart and how grace and favor has been shown to me through one of my professors. Have you considered making one of the pages a group so it can be searched? People can go back and find related sources. No, I haven't. I never, you know what? You may have mentioned that. I think you mentioned that before, making a group. I don't know. You know what? That's good. Maybe I should do that. And all the resources and stuff. Yeah, I guess I could attach files and stuff. See, but here what we're going to do, though. See, because I see, look, it's really good advice. And I get super excited about it and start hyping up people. And what's going to happen? I'm going to start focusing on that. And I'm going to start go and try and start adding all the stuff. And then now I'm focusing on this. I done took something else and added it to my plate, right? And now something else goes behind, right? So I think I will. That's a good idea. But here's what we're going to do. When I create a group, everybody that's been here, right? I'm gonna appoint some admins for the group, and all the resources that y'all have got from me, you guys add them in. Sound like a deal? I'll start, look, talking about it earlier, my husband's like, you good at starting stuff, get people all hyped up, but you can't carry out the legwork. Here's why I need y'all help. I'll start the group. And if anybody would like to be an admin and you got the resources, you kept up with them, or you know what to pull them from my page and stuff, I'll make you an admin and you can add all the stuff. That's good though, Dana. Yeah, she said, because she's trying to go back and find some stuff and it's hard to find. I agree. I'll do that. I'll create a group, and I'll create a group and I'll send out some invites, and I'll make a thread in there or something. Who would like to be an admin, right? And it's gonna have to be somebody I know that's been talking with us, right? Because everybody that's here like every day, I'll make all you guys admins, and every little piece y'all got, even the stuff that y'all shared that we talked about, even some of the movies and stuff, like add all that in, right? And I'll let y'all add it in, and it won't be my group, it'll be our group and our research that we've learned over this time. How does that sound? I make y'all admins, y'all gonna add the stuff? Because it's a good idea? Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll create it. And then I'll post it, and I'll make y'all admins. Y'all can add the stuff. And now I'll go in and check it. If it's something that I think y'all missed, I'll add it in, right? Okay. That sounds good. Because I'm trying to clear my table, but I want to make sure we're growing. Yeah, that'll be that's good, Dana. That's a good place to kind of dump all our stuff. It's like our own personal library. We can go back, and you have the ability to add files and stuff in there too. It's different tabs, because I played with it a little bit, but I haven't really uploaded things. But I've been in other groups where there's a tab inside the group and it shows files. So maybe, I don't know, we can separate it, maybe like OWASP, My Big Toe, different files, we'll categorize it, right? Anybody good with organization, that know how to do that, yeah, need your help. So, but all right, y'all, this is it. My kids are still asleep and they need to be up because we got some schoolwork to do. So, you know what? This is it for today. Yes, delegate, delegate, delegate. That's the name of the game, at least for me. Keep my sanity, right? All right, so what we was going to read today, we're going to read tomorrow, right? And so today was just a pour out your heart day. Or me pour out my heart to y'all. Y'all pray for me. All right, y'all. So with that being said, Father, you know what? We just thank you for times of honesty and truth where we can just sit and talk to one another, right? So we can learn how to be better, not just for ourselves, but also for one another. Thank you. As we grow in our student-teacher, teacher-student roles in life in all areas. Yeah. Thank you. All right, beautiful people. That's it. You know what? Before I wake them up, I'll just sit here and I'll start the group now, and I'll just tag a couple people and I'll post it. I'll post the link in the community section and on Facebook, and maybe I'll pin it to the top or something so everybody know. I don't know, but yeah. All right, so we can get it started. So anything y'all got, flood it with all the stuff we've learned, and we can go in and categorize and make it a nice little library or research place for people to come to. All right, y'all. That's it. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yes, Elijah, we all endlessly progress in Creator's highest light. Peace and blessings, family. Love you.